told the musician, very top musician, if he hears this, he will know that he's the one I'm talking about. He went to play in Dubai. They paid him nearly 400 million. He went to play in another international sports event. They paid him about 500. The next thing has a Maybach. Next thing he has another car, and then goes on a spree with jewelry and all of those things. And in less than 2 to 6 months, he's done about like 1.5 billion. Would have bought land and done an event center and put a powerful studio upstairs. People will come there and shoot and do their music, this thing, the venue, and then even bring money enough for him to buy anything he wants to buy. Then it was time for him to get married and he had to use the hall. But if we built the hall, he wouldn't have needed to spend the money for the hall. Ashake wanted to do his concert in London and applies to a bank and says, I need a loan of 1 billion. I want to organize a concert in London. They won't give him because it's Ashake, right? A car dealer goes to the bank and says, I want to import 12 cars. They will give him the money. He will bring the cars in and put it in his shop. He can't sell them in 1 week. The cars will be in the shop for sometimes 6 months. You drive past car shops, you see how they sometimes 6 months, 1 year. He still not sold some of those cars. Ashake's concert is one day. He'll make 2 billion. Aliko had some friends who came in and they wanted to go to where the rich men relax in Lagos. There was nowhere he could take them to. Is it Ikoyi Club? They're talking of Russian oligarchs that want to go to a place where big men relax. Ikoyi Club? No. They ended up going on his boat. When you want to invest in real estate, don't be thinking about sleeping area alone. Invest in other things. A school is real estate. What they're doing in it is just different. A bank is real estate. What they're doing inside it is just different. But we're limited to thinking once you say real estate, it is where people are staying. A casino is real estate. Build the real estate to suit the purpose that the people need it for. Real estate was so scarce. They burned Jesus for manger. In Paris, one real estate feeds the whole of Paris. The Eiffel Tower feeds the whole of Paris. A hotel room that if you peep a bit like this, you can see the Eiffel Tower. It's more expensive than the one that is bigger and facing the road. They will tell you it is 1,000 euros. What a bank makes in Nigeria for a whole year, Disney will make it in a day. That's real estate with a theme. Real estate with shops is shopping mall. Real estate with recreation center is a resort. Real estate with living apartments is residential. So what you do is just develop it and give it a theme. The money some nightclubs make in Nigeria, some banks have not made it. Do you know what my guys who bought land that they thought they were going to just keep for like 20 years are feeling like now near Dangote refinery? Now people are even offering to buy them. I would have gone into Ibeju-Lekki, Ekpe and all those places and bought acres and acres. So I'm telling my younger self, I could then have built like a film village. So anybody who is listening that has good money can contact me. We'll do business. Build a film village that if I drive in with a bus of actors, after 1 week, I'm driving out of there with a movie. The investment is something that will continue to yield because there are many people who want to do movies every day. But let me tell you where the big money will come from. Once you have a film village, somebody like Netflix will tell you, want to lock the place down for 2 years. It's like a police station. There must be a case. If you know that your cousin is not a good doctor, when you are sick, you won't tell them to take you to the doctor. If you know that you have somebody that doesn't know how to cook, when you are very hungry, that's not the person that you will go to. The ones who like to cut corners and not do anything and want to go into shady deals find out that they've had their fingers burnt different ways and they still don't learn. This land, you're not supposed to buy it, you then buy it. Because government is not saying anything at the time. You start building your places and then next thing you see that after 15 years, one new government comes and wakes up, which is what is happening in Festac now. People are now being sentimental. Oh, you can't throw people out. It's on the master plan. A lot of Igbos, after the war, a lot of their properties were taken by the tribe that felt that it belongs to them and government did not do anything about it. Some people lost their properties, like Onyeka Onwenu was complaining about it at the time, that some properties that her family got in Port Harcourt after the war was not given to them. It's a referenced fear, something you know has happened before. It's beginning to look like it again. The child that should have continued living the legacy of their fathers decide to sell because they didn't steal some of these properties. You can't blame those people that are buying. The empowerment you should have given to your children to make them be able to afford still living on that same street. You didn't have it. You can't blame somebody who bought your birthright because you offered it for sale.
Hello everyone and welcome to the KK Show, Key to Keys, your ultimate guide to unlocking the secrets in the Nigerian real estate market. My name is Confidence and today is going to be explosive because we have someone different, someone who is often referred to as the grandfather of Nigerian comedy. Today with me on the show is Alibaba.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on our podcast. Now, we all know you as a comedian.
Yep.
Like I said, the grandfather of Nigerian comedy.
Yeah.
People don't know you as an investor.
Okay.
So can you tell us your real estate investment journey, how it has been?
So for me, it's been learning from masters, learning from people who've been there, people who have threaded the path, and for them, they seem to be very buoyant. They seem not to be worried about anything. Okay, give you an example. There was a guy who I met in 2002, and he said he had 3 properties. One in Bagada, one in Jewellery, and one in Ogba. But he lives in Yaba. And so I told him, I said, so why are you not living in your own house? He said, living in your own house is luxury. That instead, he will build 4 flats and live in one and let other people live in the other 3. And the 3 people will be sustaining his lifestyle. Instead of build a mansion with the space he would have used to build the 4 flats.
Sure.
And with more people that I came to meet, sensible people, I found out that some of them were living that life. There's a guy who has 2 properties in VGC. Egmonshege has 3 properties in VGC. He lives in a studio flat in Ikoyi.
Wow.
Now, everybody in VGC sustains his lifestyle.
Okay.
So his investment is growing, and he said he doesn't like tying money down. He said instead of buy a property and you are living in the house like you are at Denuga, why not build that property into blocks of flats? Let several people be paying, and then you find one place that's convenient. My other early learning for with real estate is buying land. There was a quote that said, "My son, buy land, they don't make them anymore." Well, except in Lagos where there's some field. But anyway, it's still land all the same. And from all those experiences that I've had, it then made sense to me to make sure that I did not lose track of the fact that any property you buy now will continue to increase. For instance, I was telling a guy some 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Just after COVID, 2020, he had done some businesses and he had about 180 million, and he wanted to buy a Range Rover. And I told him, I said, why not just buy a Prado? Buy a fairly used Prado, Tokunbo Prado, and buy a property with the rest of the money. He said, no, that he wants to buy a Range. I said, just do it. Then later you can then buy the Prado. So he listened to me. So he bought 2 properties in the Ikeja axis for 65 million. And he renovated and then let them out. His friend who wanted him to buy a Range Rover too sold the Range Rover. That's 3 years after, 2020, last year. Sold the Range Rover last year for 30 million.
Oh, wow.
That he bought for 132.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Okay, now, the properties that he bought for 65 are now being valued for 130 each.
Wow.
So that's how you know that in real estate just keeps giving. Even if the value depreciates, it will not depreciate more than what you bought it for.
Correct. Real estate keeps giving.
Of course.
I think we've gotten something else. The fact that, because most times when we sell properties, or what we get to see, buy, you can live in for your children, but you just stated a very salient point, which is, the example you gave, the person he lived in a flat and then
let the other house work for him.
Exactly.
So the thing is, what he even says is, unless his tenants go broke or the property is demolished by the state government, he's on basic salary every month. And then he also does something. He taught me something. Instead of when they pay you money, you just begin to spend it. So they pay him money, he puts it in a fixed deposit and pays himself something every month.
Wow.
And then he's also still looking out for any other development that he wants to buy. So, and this guy has properties. He's bought land in several places, 10 hectares, 15 hectares, in places that development has not hit yet. You understand? There was a place he bought land, and he found out that the place they sold the land to him has sharp sand. And so in the last 5-7 years, the amount of sharp sand he's bought there is more than the money he bought the land with.
Oh my God.
So that's it.
Oh my God.
And he then told me that he found out that some people were talking about dredging the front of their waterfront. And he went to meet them, and they've agreed for him. And if people have checked to find that they have sharp sand in there. So he's going to buy a dredger, put the dredger and dredge sand from that place to this place that he's been selling sand before. And he's in business again.
My God. There's just so much.
There's so much you can do with real estate. It's an investment that keeps giving. But one thing a lot of people need to learn is that if you build a property for commercial use, build as if you're the one that will use it. That's what makes you get value.
Okay.
That's a salient point. It's an evergreen advice that I've gotten from people who have built before. And this is from Okoya, Eleganza. Build as if you are the one that will stay inside. You find that there's some real estate in this Lekki axis.
Yes.
When they finish building, the people who take over the property would have to renovate, change this, change that. I have a place on Orchid Road. It's 14 terrace houses. My wife and I decided that we're going to do that. But when we did it like we will stay inside. So most of the things were imported. We'll see. You see ceramic, you see the ceramic, you see the original, you see the fake. The fake will be selling for about, let's say, 2,000 per square meters. The original will sell for about like 25,000 per square meters. If the original drops, it probably would not break. It will crack at the edge. If the fake drops, it breaks into exactly. So you then use that type, and it outlasts anything that you would have done with a cheap mindset. The other thing is, you see some people build properties and use marbles on their walls, and people are like, why is he wasting that kind of money? But you would have painted in 20 years, you would have painted 4 or 5 times. All he needs to do is get a cleaning company and wash the wall.
That's true.
So it's just the same thing with the floors. You get people who do wooden floors, and you get to the house, you're like, wooden floor. But you see the wooden floor, you can throw a rug on it.
Exactly.
Take it out, put a carpet on it, take it out, polish it, and it's up again. Some people make the mistake of doing tiles. Instead of do plain tiles, it is always advisable to do plain tiles.
Plain tiles.
But some people will go and do tiles that have flowery designs on it. After people have lived in the house for like 4 or 5 times, some tiles, the flowers are dead. It's now autumn where the flower is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's dry season in some other places because the paints are all not, the designs on the tiles have faded. But if you had something like
plain tile.
Exactly. It just takes a bit of tips. Like you build a house, you do a kitchen. Because it's a kitchen, do oil paint. That way you can wash the kitchen. You use a rag and clean do a finish on the kitchen table so that you can just clean the table. But a lot of people do not take those into cognizance. So that's why the man advised that if you build a house, build like you are the one that will stay in. Then it will last.
Great. I mean, we've just gotten some points. This is real estate masterclass. Okay, so how would you compare real estate with your other business ventures?
The other business ventures, you need to do a lot of marketing for it. But for real estate, they would always, it's like a police station. There must be a case. The need for a place to live, a place to lay your head is a constant. The other constant is food. I've done food business as well, and I know that I can say people will always eat.
Yes.
People will always sleep somewhere. And the other business that I do is stand-up comedy. People would always get married. People will have anniversaries. People will have birthday parties.
True.
Somebody will be launching one product. Somebody would want to use your services here or there. So I'm in a business of meeting needs.
Needs. That's it.
So make sure you're in a business of meeting needs. Yeah.
Make sure you're in a business of meeting needs. I think that's where revenue comes in. When you meet a need, you make money.
That's why they say that if you have a habit or a talent or a hobby or a skill, and you do not upgrade it to a level where people then pay for it. So your talent or skill, unless you upgrade it to a level where people pay for it as a service. So you must upgrade it first to a service that people would need. That's when you make money. But if you do not upgrade it to a level where people need it as a service, then it's just a hobby.
I think.
So if, for instance, you know how to sing, and you sing and people are like, oh, the voice is wow. And every time you say, oh, the voice is wow, you've not commercialized it. People just appreciate it. But it is the day you then take it and put it on sale that people can say, okay, I need you for my wedding. That is when you get value from it. So it is how you upgrade it to the level that people then need you for service. And most times, some people have those kind of talents and they do not activate them. And the story of the 3 talents then comes to mind. If you are given a talent and you do not activate it and use it and bury it,
it may be taken from you.
It may be taken from you and it will be wasted.
Exactly. Sure.
So, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask a question now. Have you been swindled before?
Yes, like 2-3 times. Okay, so beyond doing property investments in Lagos, I've been doing property investments in my state. So there was a time somebody had about 20,000 square meters of land back in the village. They offered to sell it to us for 170,000. It was big land.
That was a long time ago.
1993, 94.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, sure, no problem. We'll buy it. We started looking into the land, investigated, checked, and they said yes, that the land belongs to them. But you see, beyond that place, it then turned out that whole stretch has been gazetted by the state government for road construction. Wow. And because the development had not come through that place, it was there. And the villagers or the people, the guy that came to us told us that
it's good to go.
It's good to go. So, but luckily we got some very good lawyer who told the family that we could go to court and get a court ruling that would make them, any land they have anywhere, we can take the land. Because they had collected our money over a particular time. And so this is 1993, and then we found out in 2000s. So they then decided, okay, they'll give us land somewhere else. So you get a lot of that. But what happens is, there's some other times that I would have been swindled. So you go to the place, I go with a camera, you don't know there's a hidden camera, we'll take a camera. And then when the case then came up, the man said that he didn't collect money from me. This was in the Ibeju area. Oh, that he didn't collect money from me. But you see, all the time we were there, I was wearing a pen that had a video. Oh. It was when I gave the children money, gave the wife money, he invited some people. So I was wearing a camera, body cam. And this man said he had never seen me before. Wow. They went to call the Bale. The Bale came. Bale said, there's no land that they sell in this place. And this was the time where Apoibo was Lagos CP. And so we went to meet Apoibo. He said, okay, do you have, I showed him. I said, oh, did they know you did? I said, no. He said, so you have a case. So when they called them into their office, so the man entered, they said, the first one, you are the one that said you know me, my person. They put the tape. God. They put the tape and play. As soon as the tape started playing, The man that was making noise knelt down and said, "Oh, he's very sorry. He's very sorry. You know, this thing, this, and they will give me land somewhere else." I said, "No, that same land is what I want." But they had resold it to somebody who had started building. So whatever was on it was mine. You know. Then sometimes it's a problem of the surveyor and some of the bad boys in the place who do not take their time. Maybe you call them and say, "Okay, we want to start building. Come show us this our land." Because of their own negligence and rush, they then show you a different land.
Exactly.
You start building and then find out that the land they gave you, it's actually not the one. So it's the one next to it that is yours. Then when you then start building and developing, maybe you bought the one in front and the one at the back, like the one we have near Spa. In developing the land, we had even started with finished piling and doing everything nearly to the 6th floor of the over 4,000 square meters. Then it turned out that I think the other land belonged to one African Airlines and the other one belonged to African Reinsurance. So the two people, we started calling them, those ones now said, but thank God for Oba-Elegushi, who came in, stepped in and said, "Well, they are the same size of lands. They're just different. This thing. We'll just pay for because it was one of his people that did
wow.
You know, you must use their people to
exactly
mark out, survey the land."
Wow.
And that was resolved. So most times it's also, if you have a good relationship with the KBC or whoever is around the town management or something, it also helps. Some people go buy land and they don't have any relationship with anybody around that area. You know, people already had land in the place. Ask them, who did you talk to? How did you perfect your papers? And then some is out of greed. You see somebody who is desperate to sell land. Oh, they say the land is, you go look at the land, you know the land is worth like 300 million. People say bring 80, 90. Because you want to desperately buy the land. You know, you're too desperate to cross-check. It's not even just going to allow us to check whether the papers. Find out who has bought in that area. Call them. I see that you're the one that owns this land here. Who did you talk to get your own and perfect your papers? How did you go about it? Sometimes the person you go to will now tell you, "Oh, that place belongs to General so this place belongs to this."
Exactly. So with your experience, how can you, what do you have to say about the current state of the real estate market? I'm sure you're aware of everything happening. Would you say it's wise enough for people to still invest, especially in Lagos? You know, the whole demolitions and everything basically. Do you think, first of all, have you been affected since you are an investor? Have you been affected?
Okay, so the first time I was affected with some demolition and revoking of ownership was my event center, which is where the toll gates was built.
Okay,
so it was a 4,700 square meters land. And I was using it for the event center. Just on your way towards Spa. It's opposite the British International School. It was a great event center at the time. It was one of the biggest. I did my wedding there. The platform event that they do by Pastor started there. They did 2 of them there. And so the massive land. At the time that I had the place, next door was Diamond Bank. After that was GTB. And then towards my right was IGI. They own the property there. You know, there was a Morocco police station around there as well. But all of those things were taken. But because they wanted to clear all of that place all to ShopRite. So all of those lands would have been taken for overriding public interest. All right?
Yeah.
And, but with proper negotiation and talking with the government, the 4,000 was reduced to 4,700 was reduced to 4,100. So they took only 600 square meters. Which then formed the car park and then the office of LCC, consulting company or whatever. Consortium, yes.
So there was like a compensation sort of?
No, there was no compensation. It was overriding public interest at that time. So Morocco all of the police station was taken, all those lands were taken. So it wasn't about competition, it was about having the toll plaza built, and so that Lagos can have a better road on that Lekki access. Yeah.
So what can you say about what's happening? Because what has happened recently has made a lot of people feel like Lagos is unsafe, as much as Lagos holds a lot of potential in terms of real estate. I mean, people on a daily see their investment appreciate, and with everything happening in Lagos, there's a lot of prospects in Lagos. However, a lot of people have put a stop to investing based on, what the media has projected. So, I mean, you're in Lagos, you're an investor in Lagos. What do you think about the whole demolitions and all that is currently ongoing, the coastal road, everything basically?
The advice that I have for so many people is to, like I said, investigate properly and look into it. There's no need to do it, because there are many people who are still doing this real estate business and having great success.
Sure.
Which is why the people who do their due diligence may get into the field after 6-7 years. They're doing very well.
Sure.
But the ones who like to cut corners and not do anything and want to go into shady deals find out that they've had their fingers burnt different ways. And they still don't learn. The truth is they don't learn because they probably had succeeded in those crooked ways in several places.
Yes.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this land, you're not supposed to buy it. You then buy it. People tell you that, and then you find your way and still own it. Because they succeeded in one like that, they continue to do the same thing for others. Yeah. They're like people who buy, who get involved in certain properties, some real estate businesses, and do not take into cognizance the length of time they will construct and develop the property, the unpredictable economy.
True.
Cost of doing business, and the fact that government policies can change at any time. Have a guy who built a shopping mall somewhere, and next thing they told him there was going to be an expansion of the road. He fought a bit, but when you then go back and look at it, you will see. And this is the time they were expanding the road to the airport on that Ajaò estate stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It's there that it may take 20-30 years.
Exactly.
The road will be expanded.
So there was an existing plan.
Yes. There's a route for the coastal road. The coastal road has been there. And it was just that the government was wasting time to do it. But if the government takes 20-30 years if you know that, don't encroach on it. I'll give you an example. You see the road to Dangote refinery. If you see the setback, you know that there's
something is coming.
There's a deliberate attempt for the setback. But because of all these people who do not, they give you an impression that nothing is happening. And then they move in and move in. Because government is not saying anything at the time. You start building your places, and then next thing you see that they've eaten into 50 meters setback. Then after 15 years, one new government comes and wakes up to it, which is what is happening in Festac now.
Yes.
You know that now
true.
People are now being sentimental. Oh, you can't throw people out. It's on the master plan. Even in Abuja, you see a place that has been demarcated as a green area. You come there because you want to cheat the system. You build a school, build a church, and do an event center. It's like you can't play with religion. You can't play with a mosque. You can't play with
education.
A school. And then you then build an event center and hoping that they would consider all that and say, okay, you guys stay. They break everything. It is, El-Rufai did it at the time he came, when he claimed Abuja. But after he left, a lot of people then started taking things for granted again. Truly, when you look at the real estate sector, if people follow the rules, they can't go bad. You can't go into bad business. Just follow the rules. Yeah. Whether it's your lawyer, whether it's your agent, if you follow the rules, everything will be okay. You had people who but the other thing is that our law system, our judicial system is slow. This land belongs to you, you know it belongs to you. Because the other person has money, they keep adjourning. And so the money you had planned to invest in the place, you were planning to invest about 150 million. And in another 3 years, you get out of it. You tied the 300 million down. It's not appreciating. And then the other person makes sure that you don't get judgment. And this money that was tied down then affects you in other businesses that you do. Until justice is miscarried and the guy is given permission to continue doing everything. You've lost money, you then continue to engage lawyers. If you sometimes you find that some people even die without actualizing their recovery of their land or properties. The children then continue.
Continue, exactly.
Then after a while, they then say, okay, you guys settle out of court. And they then say, okay, we have built these 12 blocks of flats. It's hard to then, okay, let's just pay you off the property. It's if the legal system works, some people will not get their fingers burnt.
A lot of people want to invest right now. For the first time investors, you didn't just start.
Yeah.
What were the obstacles you faced when you started investing in real estate? Obviously, you've been investing for a long time. You mentioned 93. You've been investing for a long time. What were the obstacles you faced?
I have a friend who said that he noticed that people were using different restaurants and hotels to do church services.
Oh, yeah.
And so he decided, let him build a hall that they could then use. So the first one he built, a church came to him, can we be using this for Sunday services? And he was still doing weddings in the place. He was doing exhibitions and all of that. It was a quiet neighborhood. Then he went to another place and then said, okay, this place, people want to buy something, they drive for distance before. Let him build a mall. So he built a mall and it was occupied because there's so many housewives in that Ajao estate that are looking for a place to sell and they don't want to take the corner shop in their place.
True.
So because when you take the corner shop in your place, you probably don't have car park. The Lagos State people will start stressing.
Exactly.
So you can just rent a shop that has a parking store and has most of the shops. So when you do that kind of investment, like first time investors, when you do that kind of thing, make it have a unique selling point, different from the ones all around you.
Okay.
So if you're doing a mall, let each shop have its own toilet and bathroom.
Okay.
The importance of that is if the person that owns the shop has customers, when the customers come and they need to use the bathroom, they don't need to go
to the general.
Yeah. And then the owner of the shop too doesn't need to use the general place because of health reasons and all of that. That it also then means that you provide something that another shop is not providing, and people will come to take your shop. Parking is very important. Some people will build a shopping mall. If they invest in shopping malls, if your first investment is a shopping mall, make sure that car park and facilities are very important. Electricity is key. Sewage system and all of that is also another paramount. Then security as well. You also need accessibility to some people will build a mall and the only access to staircases upstairs is one steep staircase like that. You are climbing and the thing is so steep. It looks like an eye that is just tilted a bit. But and you're not breaking the steps. Break the steps so that if somebody is coming down after 4 or 5 flights of steps, he then turns and then does another one, not just one straight one. Once you do that, you can then make the steps okay for traffic. Lifts are very expensive. They're very expensive to install. And if you're not building 7, 8 floors, What are you doing with the lift?
7, 8? What about 5 floors?
Well, 5 floors, but if you're building a mall, depending on the kind of clientele you're looking for,
at it, okay.
you can put a lift.
All right.
But if it's a shopping mall, you may not need a lift. If the like a Silverbird Galleria,
okay,
it has a lift because of people who come to watch movies and all of that stuff, or people who can't climb staircases. That also then disturbs people who, which is why you see some people when they build malls, no more than 2 floors.
Yes.
One floor. Bungalow shopping malls, but that's a waste of land anyway. If you're not doing more than 2 floors on a land that it's costing close to 400.
I know, right?
If your land is costing about 400 million, there's no reason why you shouldn't do more than 2 floors.
2 floors.
Which is what's happening in Ikoyi now. If you bring down any building,
high rise,
you know that you cannot do 4 floors.
It's high rise.
It's high rise because you need to recover your money. The other thing that people need to invest money in is if you have good money and you're a first time investor, build a recreation center. People leave Chevron and all these places and go to Ikoyi Club.
Yeah.
Do not have anything like that on this side. Where people play tennis, squash, swim, club. It's a business that nobody's investing in. People are busy building residential areas. All these people you are building residential area for, where do they go for recreation? So people who are first-time investors and want to go into that should look at that. It's just like how some people have built so many estates and there are no schools around where they are. So you still have people driving all the way from here to St. Saviour's in Ikoyi to go and drop children in school. Because people are not building classy schools. around the daycare centers as well. If you have a place that has close to 500 buildings or even 100 buildings, they will be having children.
Sure.
So what's wrong with building a high-class daycare center and nursery school around the place? That's another business that people need to. Dry cleaning, build a place where people can. So if you have a shopping mall or something, and people build shopping malls and allow competition into the mall, that's a big problem as well. So 4 or 5 people are selling
the same thing.
interior decoration items. They all have like 4 or 5 boutiques. That's wrong for a mall. In your mall, let one place be making bread, a bakery. Let one place be selling meat. Let another place be selling fashion accessories. One other person there is selling electronics. Another person there has a place for business, like a business center. That way the mall has more utility and appeal and satisfies more customers. People don't take that into account. So they just build the mall and people just want to take the shops because they're desperate. So they just let the shops go. And then everybody's selling the same thing. And you're wondering why your mall is not as busy as other people's malls.
Great. I was going to touch
salon, spa, and all of that. So something you can do.
I was just going to touch that for a first-time investor, what advice would you give? So I think you've kind of touched it.
Yeah. So one other thing is if you want to go into properties, one first rule is know that your money doesn't come back until 10 years.
Okay.
Your money doesn't come back until 10 years. If you spend 200 million in building anything and you want to rent or lease, it will take you 10 years.
Mm-hmm. What about shotlets, service apartments, Airbnb?
Anything at all that you're doing, the minimum time you will get your investment back is 10 years. So calculate it and say, okay, in 10 years, will I get this money back? Which is why you see some people, they do that investment. After first 4 or 5 years, they want to sell. Because there are other things they want to do and they can't tie the money down. But most times when they want to go in, people like builders will tell you, if you build this thing now, in another 2-3 months, people will rush the place. You've not seen malls that are toilets for nearly a year,
Empty.
2, and they're empty. There are flats that people have built and are empty, even in Ikoyi.
What could be the cause of that?
One is the economic downturn is making a lot of people think, let me use this money for something that I can control.
Okay.
The other thing is it's just like how people now say, instead of buy a new Land Cruiser for 180 million, 290 million, 250 million, let me give somebody money like 20 million, let him upgrade. People are upgrading Land Cruisers, Jeeps, and the rest of them. So the economy is really very bad. Cash in hand is very important, which is why people have not developed. People that bought Eco Atlantic, many of them can't develop. I was emceeing a launch of the Champagne Towers in Eco Atlantic, one every year. Elias was building, so one every year. We're launching one every year. We did one, we launched it. The second one, we did that one, we launched it. The third one, we couldn't do because the economy had gone down south. So what I would advise is anybody that wants to invest in properties that you know that the return on investment would either be fast or you don't depend on it for the next one that you want to build. So I repeat, if you want to build a mall, let it not be that it is this mall that would then be the money from this mall that you use to build another one. That can be frustrating because you're not going to get all the people in the mall give you 5 years advance.
Yes.
All right? So your return on investment will be tied down for a while. So it must mean that if you're going into a business, let it be one that you're not depending on that property to bring the money that you use to build the next one, unless you're doing outright sale.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you're doing outright sale. So if you're doing outright sale, it works. And these days, if you're going into properties, don't do off-plan sale unless you have deep pockets as well. Because if you do an off-plan sale and dollar is at 600 and you do off-plan sale, it was a big problem that a lot of people had.
Yes.
You do off-plan sale of, say, property that is at 120 and you do off-plan sale for 110. By the time you finish, the people have paid you 110 and it's now costing you 160, 70 to deliver. You can't go and meet them again to say, let's review the prices. No. But it will have eaten straight into your bottom line. If you're borrowing money from the bank, it's a big problem as well for property. If you're borrowing from the bank for property, you find that your revenue and profit from building those kind of places with bank funding is eroded most times by the interest rates. Most property developers know. So you either find deep pockets. That's why some of them are accused of using funds from proceeds of crime. That's why a lot of people are accusing.
Well, how can people? Because one of the major reasons why off-plan came into play was, most of the diaspora clients, everyone want to own something in Nigeria.
And
but what they're used to, yes, an installment. They're used to the 20 years and all that.
But a lot of them have been shafted as well. Okay. A lot of them, there are people who, and then those of them who also want to build like that without using a proper company that's into real estate development. They then find one cousin who knows one cousin, and then you send close to
you
send close to about like 200 million, and your house is still on foundation mode. But the person that is helping you build this thing has completed 2-3 houses, and because they are family, it then becomes very hard to take the action that you want to take.
Sure.
When it comes to business, there's a guy I talked to, Ned. Ned said, when it comes to business, don't do brother, sister.
I know.
Don't do brother, sister. Just make sure because if you know that your cousin is not a good doctor, when you are sick, you won't tell them to take you to the doctor.
Very correct.
Exactly. If you know that you have somebody that doesn't know how to cook when you are very hungry, that's not the person that you go to. So sometimes it is just important for you to call a spade a spade.
Spade.
Then invest in things that don't follow trends.
That don't follow trends.
So there's a trend that was going on that clubs.
Yes.
Is it nightclubs and the lounges and nightclubs are doing it. You see other people who are doing it and succeeding and making money in it, and somebody just tell you, say, that's what I want to do. And so the first thing you want to do from your first investment is to build a lounge. And then you build a lounge or build a restaurant and get people to come in and you're shafted, get your fingers burnt, because most of the people who do the lounge thing, they didn't tell you what they do to make sure that they are not cheated.
That's true.
Real estate is good, but make sure that you have your ear to the ground. Have your ear to the ground when you're doing the business. Legal too. Make sure you're doing business, real estate.
That's one major part, because
you must make sure that you have your papers
I trust
and read between the lines. Don't say, oh, he's my lawyer, he will handle everything. There are people who have left some land with some lawyers and lost them. Sometimes even the lawyer is the one that will shaft you. All right? Or collude with somebody else to shaft you.
So how important is branding in real estate? You've been able to brand yourself over the years, and I mean, you're here today.
So branding is important because one is for visibility, durability, functionality as well. Then the last one is integrity. The other thing that you need to put for is flexibility of your brand in attracting better customers. If I see nearly everybody, if you see Nike, without Nike written on it, you know that's Nike.
Yes.
If you go into a shop and say you want to buy a canvas that will last, you can see other names and you see Nike. You know that the name of Nike is behind that brand.
True.
So that's trust. You also know that if I buy this Nike, I can use it for like 9, 8, 10 years if I want to. And I can give it to somebody else who can then continue using it again. But it will serve me within the time. Then there is a brand status that certain things give to you. That's why somebody says, oh, I live in so and so. And then there's functionality. The other functionality is, where is your brand locating its properties? Is it near to market or near to where market serves? Near to market is, so let me explain that. It's like, the reason some people will buy 1004 flats is because it's inside town.
Yes.
And the people who would then lease those places are leasing it because if they walk around Victoria Island, shuttle to work is not hard. Some of them can even stroll to work and stroll back. And if they're taking a cab, to and fro work will not be that much. A friend can also drop them off. But if you're building a property outside Victoria Island, you also have to take into cognizance the functionality of your property. Who is it going to serve? The people who will come there, what is their status? If the status is for people who can't afford the Victoria Island, do you then go overboard with the kind of quality of service that you then... So now, do you think that your brand is servicing this kind of people? Or servicing this other kind of people? Sujimoto, for instance. He has decided that he's doing luxury end. Some other people then decide, I want to do middle income and brand myself towards that. So anytime they see your name, they know this is middle income. There is even, so I won't mention this one's name. There are some people who are appealing to a market that every layer they'll give you RAM. some other people that say, oh, it's Christmas time, we'll give you 10 chickens, we'll give you a bag of rice, we'll give you this one, because you're appealing to that. But you can't, if the person you are marketing to is a GM of a bank or an MD of a bank, your bag of rice or bag of this thing doesn't appeal to him.
Yes.
So you must know your market in determining the kind of brand that you're building. Another thing that you must also know is that are you building a brand that is known for quality or affordability?
So those two don't mix?
No, they don't. Now, let me tell you. You could do, let's say you build a house in Victoria Island. So it's 3-bedroom flats, or 1 bed. But the quality of the house is really very nice. And you put it at 12 million for the 1 bed. And somebody is thinking, I want 12 million for 1 bed. But I could get a 5-bedroom in Lekki Phase 1 for 7. Why do I want to stay in this? What you have clearly done is you have separated yourself from that luxury end. That's why I was saying that luxury and affordability don't match. Luxury asks for quality.
Because what we say, what we hear these days, affordable luxury.
No. Okay, so why they call it affordable luxury is that it's built in a place that you can afford. Okay. But they try to give you some elements of luxury.
All right. Okay.
But when you talk about luxury, it's high end. Affordable luxury is like you have a Camry that is leather seats. All right?
Okay.
It has reverse camera. Okay. It has power windows. It has then it has touch screen sound system, right? But it's leather seats. It's affordable luxury.
And it's Camry.
But you cannot now then say, oh, a Porsche Cayenne. They now say affordable luxury and Porsche Cayenne. Okay, do upholstery for me instead of leather seats. So
sure.
So the thing is, the quality of what you're serving also determines the area that you set it up in. For instance, okay, another thing that points to affordable luxury: you go set up a dry cleaning center in Ajegunle, right? And the dry cleaning center in Ajegunle is top notch. And you say it's affordable luxury. If you come here to dry clean this, you can bring the suit at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You can get it by 3 p.m. All right? Considering the cost that it will cost you to provide that service, that will not be the place to set it up.
Sure.
So when you then set it up in those kind of places, you say, we will give you the quality that those people can give you. But there will be a catch. It can't be the same price.
That's true.
Though the rent, okay, I went to buy a cable. Okay, I went to Uyo for something. And so when in Uyo, my charger wasn't working. So I said, this charger used to work now. So we drove around town so we got to a place and the guy gave me this charger for 3K. And I was looking at the charger. I said, but I bought this charger in Lagos for 7. So when I came, I called my guy. I said, this charger, you sold it to me for 7. I bought it in New York. He said, bros, how much rent that person they pay for you? You know?
True.
So location would differ and affect the prices that you charge.
Exactly.
The affordable luxury in Awoyaya, a 3-bedroom in Awoyaya may have the same quality as the one in Lekki Phase 1, right? But you will not get it at the same price.
That's true.
But the person is giving you the luxury at an affordable price because what he paid for the land and everything in that place is different from what he would have paid here.
But it won't even be the same price of 3-bedroom in Awoyaya.
Of course, the thing is, I told you about tiles that are sold 25,000 per square meter. And then the one that is sell 2,000 per square meter. It will look like nearly the same thing. But it will not be the same. For instance, there are 2 kinds of leather upholstery in your car. There's one that is leather. Then there's one that is like rubber, but it's like leather. So it look like leather. Next to animal skin, as they call it. So the quality will still be there, but which is why you have a car that is 1.2 liters and you have one that is V8.
V8.
And you have one that is V12. So it just depends. You can still be S-class and it will have 3 seats at the back, or it will be S-class and have 2 seats at the back.
I'm sure you must have heard about it, about the Igbo community.
Okay.
Yes. A lot of people, of course, we have lots of clients who are Igbos, who are non-Yorubas,
Okay.
who are investing. And there's just been the tension recently about non-Yorubas or Igbos investing in Lagos. What do you have to say about that?
For me, I think it doesn't make business sense for you to chase people who have the cash and the values to offer your environment or your community or society. Many of those who are also saying, oh, the Igbos are coming here to do this, have children who are abroad as well. So how do you feel if somebody now begins to say, oh, these guys, you can't come here to invest. You are not from here. But when it comes to election, you want everybody to vote for you. So it's just very little minds that are pushing that narrative. Again, I think the biggest problem is not even the mindset that these people have. It is a poor education that we have. Because it is not having children that are properly educated and empowered to live their life fully that pushes them to the point where they are not even empowered to get enough money to live the kind of life and acquire the kind of properties they want to acquire. So you have a street that has you have people of a dominant tribe living in those streets. Then you then have 6 of those, so there's 10 families now. So 6 of those families now have children who are not doing very well. And all of them are broke, and the person is looking like, instead of just being broke and having these properties, let's just sell it to anybody that's having, so we can go and live a better life in a different place. So they sell it. So gradually you see people are buying, and people are buying. You can't blame those people that are buying, because the empowerment you should have given to your children to make them be able to afford still living on that same street, you didn't have it. So the child that should have continued living the legacy of their fathers decide to sell. Unfortunately, the people who are buying are the people that are from the East, because those ones are hardworking, and then when they finish, because they didn't steal some of these properties. They did not steal. They didn't bring a gun to say, give us this land or give us this property. But you're selling to them. So it must mean that somebody sold to them.
Yes.
That's what you should actually be looking at. My friend said one time that when you want to arrest somebody for selling a child, if it is the person that owns the child, that sold the child, you know who you are prosecuting. The Bible says that people who have something, if they don't do anything with it, it will be taken from them. You need to begin to look at the problem first of all, and not looking at the people who benefit from the problem that you have. So you have a house that catches fire all the time. Instead of you to look at the thing that is making the house catch fire and you're inviting fire brigade, you are quarreling with the fire brigade people because they come late all the time. But what is causing the fire? You are not dealing with it. The reason some of your people are not buying these properties is that some of the children that the people who own the properties have are not getting the kind of empowerment that will enable them also maintain that legacy that you have built, or the property that you have built. That's why they sell it to these other people. It's unfortunate that the people then buy. And then when they buy, it now begins to look like they're taking over your community. What happened? Why are you not empowering your people? Empower your people first of all, so that they won't have to let those things go. As a joke, somebody says that when you fail to take care of your wife, other people start taking care of your wife. You're not vexing and saying, oh, why are they taking care of my wife? There's a song by an Orobo musician that said, a foolish man he plant a mango for me rodeo before he come back. Another man you pluck a more or do time. That is, it's a foolish man that planted the mango tree on the road. Then instead of planting it inside this compound,
yeah.
then when somebody then plucks it, you now say, why are they plucking your mango? You planted it on the road, first of all. So it's important for us to deal with that. And that is give your children good education, give them empowerment, let them be able to stand toe to toe with other people. If not, they'll sell their birthright. That's the word. You can't blame somebody who bought your birthright because you offered it for sale. So somebody offers a birthright for sale. You do not now question the right of that person for buying somebody's birthright that was offered for sale.
Wow. It's deep. Really deep, because we've been touching it. I mean, we have a lot of diasporans, Igbos, people from different parts of Nigeria, basically buying properties in Lagos. And as we are trying to promote unity. Now, with all of this happening, I'm getting calls here and there. Confidence, is it still viable to invest in Lagos? Of course, everyone, Lagos is more or less like the New York of Nigeria. And everyone wants to have something. As much as you may have something in your hometown, you want to have something in Lagos.
But you also can't blame some of them, because there's a proverb in my place that says that when a rabbit escapes a trap from a tree that is bent and then the wires are tied to it to set a trap, when it escapes and the trap cuts its tail, every time he sees a bent tree, he begins to say, this looks like another trap. So a lot of Igbos, after the war, a lot of their properties were taken.
Yes.
By the tribe that felt that it belongs to them, and government did not do anything about it. Some people lost their properties because of that. What government should have done was to then come and say, these people's properties, give it back to them. That's how you would have resolved the issues. But some of them lost, like Onyeka Onwenu was complaining about it at the time, even till she died, that some properties that her family got in Port Harcourt after the war was not given to them. And many families suffered that. So the people that, it's a reference fear. So the word reference fear is something you know has happened before. It's beginning to look like it again. All right? That's the thing. It like during the elections, when people were feeling like they targeted them and not allowed them to vote because they're saying this is our land. You know, you're saying this is our land, but when it comes to vote, you then want our votes. All right. So you can't question some fears that people have, but it must be said that if the precedent has been there before, it is easy for you to then toe the line of fear of going that way again. Many people also know that just like the Jews, the Indians, the Arabs, they like to live in a cluster of a community. Go to Canada, you find a place, we can drive into one street and you see Indians. You drive into another place, you see those Saudis, they live on that stretch. And so they keep informing their friends and say, okay, there's a place that's open now, we'll buy it. There's another place that's open. There are many of these Indians in Ibeju. And that's what they do.
That's their community.
That's their community. So in the evening, you see them walking around because they live around that place, and it gives them some security. So if I have a property that is next door and Kayode calls me, Ogochukwu, there's this land for sale. I'll call my friend and say, Ifeanyi, somebody has this land for sale. Ifeanyi will bring money and buy it. He's not going to steal it. Somebody offered it for sale. So he buys it. But that communal environment, it helps a lot of people strengthen their resolve to live in a place for peace and unity. It is like back in the days around Fadeyi, a lot of Ishans were there. A lot of Ishans were around that Fadeyi area. From Ekpoma, Auchi, all of them were around that area. Then Urobos, a lot of them were in Ketu and Ajegunle. Urobo, Isoko, and they were around that area. So there are plenty. So once they find a community, they live around there, which is the same thing that happens like in Warri, we have a place called the Hausa Quarters. Once people find their kind in a particular place, they begin to move into the place. You know that is why a lot of people live in Houston. It's a Nigerian place.
Yes.
They're doing it in Atlanta. Now Maryland is beginning to look like that as well. People are now, Dallas too. People are now saying, okay, I think they lot more Nigerian nurses in Maryland. So they go to Maryland and they ask, how is it going down? And say, come, this is what you should do. This is what they put you through. You start working in the place. Indians do it too. So what you need to do is make sure, like I said, empower your people so that they are strong enough and powerful enough to begin to buy up all those places again. And because those guys are entrepreneurial, if an Igbo man bought a place for you before for 15 million and you come and offer him 30, he will move. I've seen an Igbo man sell his car in church and took an Uber home. So they're very entrepreneurial. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Reflecting on your personal journey, if you could go back, but before I go there, let's just finalize that topic. So is it safe to invest in Lagos?
Oh yes. It's very safe. People who have invested in Lagos have taken their yields and profits. What the problem is most times is that some people invest in a particular business or venture, do not know when to pull out or call it a day in that place once they've satisfied their... I'll give you an example of there was a time in 2008 when Dangote Sugar came. When Dangote Sugar came, 1 naira 20 kobo or thereabouts, we all jumped in. Dangote Sugar rose to 42 naira. So if you bought 20 million naira shares in 2008, when Dangote got to 40 something naira,
wow,
you're expecting it to get to 100 naira. So what has happened is that some people, when it got to about like, so in fact, I know a guy. Oh, God bless his memory, is past now. When he bought Dangote, he bought about like 50 million naira worth.
Wow.
At 1 naira 20 kobo per share. By the time Dangote got to 26 or 27 naira, he was out of the deal and had gone to invest in properties. The wife is running the business right now, but he invested in properties. He took his money and went to invest in property because that is 50 million times 27.
That's insane.
He cried later and said, man, you know, the thing got, I should have waited. But some people waited till...
And they lost.
Of course. I don't think the shares are up to that. It can be 40 something, but sugar was sweet. You know? So it is also a matter of being properly informed. So yes, it is good to invest in real estate now because in truth, real estate doesn't drop.
Yeah.
It continues to go up, but just invest right.
If you could go back in time about how you approached your business in Lagos real estate, what would it be? What would you change?
I would have gone into Ibeju-Lekki, Ekpe, and all those places and bought acres.
Really? Why?
Acres and acres. Do you know what my guys who bought land that they thought they were going to just keep for like 20 years are feeling like now near Dangote refinery? Guys are like, they're like
falling.
Now, people are even offering to buy them. But you know, most times when you buy those land, I'm telling my younger self, go to Dangote, go to that Lekki area, buy like 100 acres, fence the place. Just fence the place and put some small houses there that your people can be staying to monitor and secure your property. Every now and then you go there to go and look at it. Or put some containers in the place and just make it like a resort and use it temporarily to hold the property. That's what I would have done. I would have bought, and the monies we were spending then, there were people that had dashed. At that time, you dash people 100K, 200K, 300. That would have bought like 4-5 plots. Then, in the 90s, people were buying plots for, you see lands that people bought then that they said they wanted to use for farming. And you hear that somebody bought like 100 acres for like 200,000-300,000. Some of the lands that people are building on now were bought for 30,000-40,000. Land my wife bought for 22,000 was selling for 150 million.
You said?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So look at Amen Estate, the size of land they bought that time. The size of land Amen Estate has now, if anybody wants to buy it, you'll be talking in billions.
That's true.
Because that whole stretch has opened. So it's to be futuristic. And I would have told my younger self to make sure that, in fact, let's say buy land, they don't make them anymore. So I would have bought many land. And the land that I would have bought would be, I could then have built like a film village. That's another thing that somebody that wants to invest can do. Build a film village. Not the film village like everybody is mentioning now. So anybody who is listening that has good money can contact me. We'll do business. But see, the truth is, build a film village that if I drive in with a bus of actors, after 1 week, I'm driving out of there with a movie. You would have people registering to use the place every day. How? Build a film village. If you have 100 hectares, right? Build it, let it look like a city.
Different sets, right?
Different sets. There's a mechanic workshop. There's a swimming pool. There's a shopping mall. There's a school. There's a mosque. There's a church. There is an abattoir. There is a bus stop, different bus stops. And those different bus stops. And then you have a place that has a car park. Then you have a bus park. Then you have a place that you build that looks like a lounge and a waiting departure lounge of an airport. And then you have another place that's like a gym and a spa. And you have all this, and the roads are all tarred, and you can begin to name, and you have direction signs and that points to wherever you are going, and you can change them. Then you have a printing press that is there, so they can print different things that they can use for the place. So if we decide that we want to shoot a scene in River State, we don't need to go to River State. We just do SAV and stick on a vehicle, and it will look like a Port Harcourt taxi. 4 or 5 of them drive past at the same time. You've established that you are in Port Harcourt. Then, if you are now trying to justify that the person is in the US, you build some houses that have replicas and lawn and everything that looks like overseas. And then you do London taxis or New York taxis. 2 just drop there and the person comes down, goes into the place. You've established the shot. You then say you want to build a mosque. Build a mosque. They can change anything there and make it still look like, if it's a mechanic workshop, do the mechanic workshop. You can change anything around the place and shoot your movie. Have a swimming pool. You can write 4 or 5 scripts about that swimming pool. And then you build a hostel that people who come to work in the place will stay. So you build like 2, 3 hostels, the female on one side, the male on this other side, the executives are on the other side. Everybody stays there. By the time they finish shoot, everybody moves out. And you can shoot on a hospital, put a hospital. But you see, people do not invest in those things. Somebody else does it.
Exactly. Then everybody now
starts coming in. It's like when people used to sell cars on Western Avenue. Every house turned to a car shop. That's the thing that happens with us. You have nearly everybody now does event planning.
Yes.
Nearly everybody now provides ushers. Nearly everybody now wants to own a boutique. So you see some girls, they get some money, they open a boutique. After 3, 4, 5 years, boutique folds up. Because truly you open a boutique where there are other boutiques.
Exactly.
And you're wondering how and meanwhile your sales is because you got a largesse from somebody and you set up the place. And so if the person is not in office again, how do you fund it?
That's so true.
Do you know that if you build a film village, the traffic of people that will come to the place, you can have mama put, you can have somebody who's roasting bully, you have that traffic that is coming in all the time. And then you then build a museum around the place, people who want to come there to look at film, people. So
I think you've been thinking about this for a while.
I've been in the business for 38 years.
Okay.
So it's It's something that, okay, then even in that place, you can then have a place that they do rental, lights, GoFlex lights, slides, tripod, cameras, microphones, everything. The people just come there and you give them everything. They finish shoot. You want to use redhead, black magic. You want to use black magic. You want to use red. Here. You want to use Aurora. Here.
Wow, it looks capital intensive, but I think it's a brilliant.
It is because the thing is, it's a growing industry. Nigeria is either between number 1 or number 2. There's America, there's India, and Nigeria for the production of movies. The numbers are, and we have the market for the consumption, which is why Netflix is big now, which is why Prime is trying to come into Nigeria as well. HBO is trying to come into Nigeria. These are people who know what the market is like. And our consumption rate is becoming bigger because we can watch it on our palm device. So if you want to invest in that, real estate should be one of the business. And don't forget that if you set up that film village and build those things, if the thing doesn't sell, you still have your property.
You still have your land too. You still have everything.
Your land. And sometimes the things that you're building, the production houses, you just need to soundproof some of them and make sure that they can shoot even if a plane flies or a helicopter flies past. You're shooting. And have a massive place that people can continue to do series. People will come there and begin to do their series. So they come in there, shoot like 10, 13 episodes and go back. After a while, they call back again and say, we want to use the place for another 1 week. Come there and shoot. In these days of podcasts and interview shows and all, fireside chats, set up the place. Let people come in the place. They know that I can stay there for 1 week, finish all this shoot and get out. And they have like 20. Then you invite your guests to come and shoot and you tell them we're shooting in the place. So everyone that comes stays in the place, finish their shoot, and they go. This
is really brilliant. I'm sure people watching this will want to know how, because we have investors who are on standby looking for a viable investment. And from what you've said, it looks like something that will generate a good return, something that is lacking, like we started, you find a need. And I think this is a need. So what's the process? I mean, how can someone get started?
Okay, so first is getting the land. And after getting the land, another thing is fence and build the infrastructure. So the infrastructure includes doing the road and doing those premises that you use for the functional premises. And have a supermarket. And the supermarket, even when there's no shoot, can still serve the people that are staying in the hostels. So you build the hostels in a way that crew members can stay in the place. Your directors, producers, grip, all of them can stay in the place. And then you build an amphitheater, because sometimes some people might need to come and watch a movie and tell you, oh, I've seen this movie, I think you should change this, I think you should change that. They do it overseas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have a hall as well. In that film village, have a hall, because you could do a shoot that requests for wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
And they will use the hall for the wedding ceremony. You have the band, you have everything. You have a police station built in the place. Police station, police barracks, everything is in the place. By the time you finish it, you probably will not even have enough, and you probably need to want to build another one somewhere else. Because it might look like it's money consuming, but give you an example. Tyler Perry's place now is booked all through. There are some people who want to use the place. Eddie Murphy shot He's Coming to America in the place.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so if it were not there, they would have been using different locations.
Yes,
but the thing is, they come into the place and shoot their movie there. So you have a place, you build everything, wedding ceremonies.
I think you've just painted the picture.
Exactly.
Everyone has seen Coming to America
exactly.
too, right?
Yes, you've seen Coming to America. So what is holding you? You have a TV station as well in the place. So if you're shooting a movie and the movie has to have an interview at a TV station, You have a TV station. If you're shooting a movie and news has to be read in the movie, you have a TV station.
Just a one-stop shop.
Exactly. They just drive into the place. And sometimes, this is a good thing. If you drive into a film village with a script, if you get into the film village, your head would explode with ideas and be like, instead of my guest to be having this quarrel at the balcony, let them have it at a restaurant. Instead of the husband and wife to be professing their love in the living room, let them have it in a swimming pool. Instead of them to be having this chat, let them have it at an abattoir where the wife meets another wife and says, this is what I heard about your husband. And they're chatting and say, yes, give me 2 lambs, give me this one. And then the butcher is cutting this thing. You've created a much engaging movie than if the 2 of them were in a living room talking about the same issue. If it was an accident scene, the accident scene happens, let it not be that the whole place is quiet. You have people. Who you also have given accommodation, and you pay them and they just come walk past like it's a real life situation. An Okada man is riding past and delivering newspaper or delivering an item in the next compound, and you ask the man, is this where? I said, no, me, I came to deliver this. You've made it look so real. But you see, if you have to shoot that kind of scene in...
Everyone will just stand.
Everybody will be looking at you. Or it will... So the investment is something that will continue to yield because there are many people who want to do movies every day. But let me tell you where the big money will come from. Once you have a film village, somebody like Netflix will tell you, want to lock the place down for 2 years. Netflix is paying people $500,000, giving people $600,000 to produce a movie. And those ones are running everywhere and renting flats and renting accommodation. You have a hotel lobby or the corridor of a hotel. If you build a real good hotel, you could have 1 floor. People are shooting in 2nd floor or 3rd floor. Somebody's shooting in the 1st floor. Somebody's shooting in the middle floor. Somebody's using the reception or even the canteen of the restaurant in the hotel to shoot a movie, and it doesn't disturb the people who are shooting in the room or the suite upstairs. All right, it could be the kitchen. So you build like 4 or 5 kitchens. People are shooting in one kitchen, there are people shooting in another kitchen. You build a buka. You build a village. Village setting. Build a village setting with thatched huts and all of that stuff. Build a stream that people can go to. So when somebody receives a call in the village, you don't have to go shoot in a village. You shoot in that same place. So it's a lot of investment. There's a lot of it's cash consuming, but it's a place that, we said that you can get your money in 10 years. For a cinema, you can get your money in 2 years.
Wow.
I tell you that because, and this is about the creative industry. So Ashake wanted to do his concert in London and applies to a bank and says, I need a loan of 1 billion. I want to organize a concert in London. They won't give him because it's Ashake, right? A car dealer goes to the bank and says, I want to import 12 cars. They will give him the money. He will bring the cars in and put it in his shop. He can't sell them in 1 week. The cars will be in the shop for sometimes 6 months. You drive past car shops, you see how they're sometimes 6 months, 1 year. He's still not sold some of those cars. Ashake's concert is 1 day. He'll make 2 billion. If Netflix pays you to produce a special movie, you won't take 2 years to produce a movie. If you have a good location, film village, you produce the movie in 2 weeks max. Do your ADR, do your mix and every editing and everything. Special effects or everything that you want to do. In 1 month, your movie is ready. You bring it into town, do your movie premiere, and you're ready for another movie. But the problem is we do not have a film village. The people who want to invest in it, do not have people who advise them properly. I told someone once, I said, if I have 2 billion, we'll have a film village in less than 3 months. In less than 3 months, we'll have a film village. So the people who want to invest just have to go to the right place and know who has the idea about a film village. Otherwise, some people get money to build a film village, and out of the money, they're building a house somewhere. They are living the life. That's not the reason for getting money to build a film village is just to make sure that the film village. So your film village shouldn't take 6 months.
I mean, my investors out there, an opportunity has been opened. You just have to give us a call. Let's make this happen right here. You're ready for this, right?
We were born ready. Born ready.
I'm going to ask a question regarding that. Now, having the film village, won't we have all movies looking alike?
No. So what happens most times is that when you want to shoot your movie, your set designer determines what the movie should look like. If you're shooting a movie and you want it to look like Kano, you then get the things that represent the establishment shots. You find what represents Kano. You're shooting a movie and somebody is pulling a cart with 2 donkeys and they load all these things inside, and the children are dressed in Hausa outfit, and one man is carrying that walking stick, that stick that's how Fulani people, and they are leading goats and cows past, and you're saying, they are going to the mosque. You've established a shot, and then a Kano taxi will drive past.
Yes.
And if you want to create that it's an earth road, they will bring dust and put on the road. When a car drives past, the dust will go up. Sure. It's in a place that was, how did they say? You create the environment. That's what a film village is supposed to do. You know, if it gets worse, you put a green screen and create a forest.
Looking at the future ahead, what's next for you in real estate?
We need to begin to go inside the ground.
Okay.
The reason most people are not going inside the ground is a cost. But the thing is that now that people are now doing, I don't think we have 30 floors building in Nigeria.
Not yet.
No, not yet. So, because the higher you go, the deeper you go.
Yes.
So, people are now reasoning, if you're going to go deep into the ground, just like Intercontinental Hotel, they went deep into the ground and they had about like 2 or 3 car parks inside the ground. It's possible. And the thing is, when you go inside the ground, you have more space. You have more land. So if you have 2,000 square meters, if you go inside the ground, you have 4,000 square meters. If you go deeper again, you have 6,000 square meters. If you go deeper than that, you still have... So the thing is, we'll go to Dubai. You get to a Dubai, but that was desert. That's a desert, so the land is a bit hard. But when you look at it, you go into the place, you see -1, -2, -3, -4.
Yes.
When you get in the lift and go down into your -1 or -2, you don't know whether you are inside the ground. You just continue to live your life and then come up and do anything you want to do. So sure. I stayed in a hotel one time in the US, and I looked out and it was like a balcony with flowers and all of that stuff. We were inside the ground. But they made it look like it wasn't inside the ground. So the future is, because especially Lagos, there's no more land. So you either go up or go into the ground. Yeah. I proposed that the Polo Club has this massive land where they play polo.
Yes.
I told Dakbo, who was one of their officials at the time, I said, Dakbo, can they stop playing polo for 2 years and let us take over this polo ground? I said, we'll still give them their polo ground. We just dig up the polo ground, go into the ground like 4 floors and deck it and make it about like, the thickness of the decking should be about like 1.5, 1.5, 1 foot and a half, 1 foot and a half. and deck it. So we'll start from inside the ground. By the way, the sand we'll dig from inside that ground, we can still sell it.
Exactly.
You just keep digging and going inside the ground and then use waterproof cement and deck it all the way. Then when we then get to the top, we'll give you back your Polo Club and give you 1 floor or 2 floors under. Because for as long as Polo Club will exist, everything under it is wasted value.
Yes.
So let's make value from it. So what happens with a lot of us is that we think of the bare ground, what you get from inside the ground. Nobody thinks about it. You go to like Texas or Dallas, Houston, they'll build a house here and the car park will be so big because they have land.
Yes.
In Lagos, you don't have that luxury anymore. We need to start going into the ground, which is what happened to Chicago. Chicago started building a lot of tunnels. Sometimes you're driving, you drive and then your car is waving and this. All the places you're weaving, there are houses all on top. All the places you're dodging are pillars of houses that they don't want, that your car is weaving through.
Before we end this, what's your favorite location to invest and why?
So Lagos one.
Okay. Mainland Island?
For now, because of the cost of investing in Victoria Island and Lekki, I will do mainland.
Okay.
Buy, break down, and because the medium income earners would be ready to pay. They won't want to pay the price of VI. But the price of VI would do you. So if you want to develop 2,000 square meters in VI, the cost would develop 4,000 square meters for you
on the mainland.
On the mainland. So the money that you would have used to buy a 2,000 square meters in VI, buy several in the mainland, break it down and erect that kind of thing and provide those kind of facilities that even VI would not have gotten. What are the facilities? Car park, swimming pool, gym, small shopping mall, a small daycare, and all that. So I would invest on mainland. Yes. The other thing that I would also do is a club, like an Ikoyi club kind of thing, a recreation center. I would like to invest in a recreation center. Oh, I was meaning to tell you this. So, in this course of building the refinery, Aliko had some friends who came in and they wanted to go to where the rich men relax in Nigeria, in Lagos. There was nowhere he could take them to. Is it Ikoyi Club that you want to take? You've been to Ikoyi Club now. They're talking of Russian oligarchs that want to go to a place where big men relax. Ikoyi Club? No. In fact, some lounges may even be better than taking them to Ikoyi Club. But they want to go to a place where the rich play golf or play tennis or squash and have a great time. They didn't have. They ended up going on his boat because it had luxury, had class, and then they pushed out into the waters, went around. After a while, they came back. There's no recreation center for the rich. When I talk rich, I'm talking billionaires. No.
Very rich. There are levels to this.
We don't have. We don't. Even nightclubs for the rich, we don't have. I won't mention his name. So I went to this big man's hotel in New York. And he and some of his friends were sitting and they're gisting. And then the friend said that they quickly have to go and get money from the ATM. He said, use this one. And they're like, where? They opened that door. They opened one door. There was an ATM kind of thing. They opened it and said, take any amount you want to take. And it will record. So they took the monies they wanted to take, closed the thing, locked it, and said, that's it. So you check into the hotel. They've given you pounds, sterling, and all of that. So you tell them, just like your fridge, that you tell them must have drinks and all of that. So every drink you take out of it is now added to your tray. That's class. That's luxury. So when you are going to say, I want to use ATM, I want to use this and cash money from one place, so I need to go there, it's brought to you inside. We had 2 months ago where one person did a video in Dubai saying, you people drive to a filling station to go and get your fuel. We call the petrol people to come and give us fuel where we are. And he called. A few minutes later, a tanker drove up, topped his car where he was. Well, now I have to put fuel in my car. I have to look for a place to go and buy it. But I can call them to come and, don't we do it with diesel? You call them and say, I need diesel. They come and deliver. You should be able to call them and say, I need 50 liters. In fact, all the cars need to be fueled. They drive to your house, fill all of these things, and move on. That's where real estate should go to. The real estate should go to a place where you provide something for specific people. The person that is building a high rise of 24 floors that has different wings, about like 4 or 5 wings, have like 2 dedicated lifts. So you have about like 8 lifts in different ends of the place. There's a floor that is for gym and lounge. Mm-hmm. There's another place that is for swimming pool. And also there's warm swimming pool, there's cold swimming pool, there's a spa, everything. And that whole building has everything. There's a supermarket on another floor. There's an executive lounge. There's a normal lounge. There's a play area for children. And the person finishes that kind of building. Anybody that moves into that place knows that if he has to go out, it's for an appointment. Otherwise, he can gym in the place, get his hair cut, do spa, do dry cleaning. There's a library, there's a business center, and he can do everything from there. Then he has a shared business office space that he can come downstairs, hold meetings and everything, and go back to his room. That is where the next next level of real estate should go to. The idea of us being stuck in the old ways is really very sad. Another thing that somebody who is looking at investing money should invest in is tourism.
Okay.
There are resorts that you go to. I went and paid $400 to see gorilla in Rwanda. $400 to see gorilla.
Wow.
Gorilla did not even want to see me. $400 to see a gorilla. And after, when they were pushing us like children who went to, what's that thing? That's excursion. They said, so let's move. But as I was walking away, my 500 was gone. All right? So, why not, we could have a zoo in this Nigeria, in this Lagos. Have a zoo. Build it well. So children can come and see this thing. And you grow what you used to feed your lions and all of that. You have sheep and goats and all of that. You can feed your lion and feed it. We don't have a place that has a park. Though maybe a giraffe may not fit the scene, but the animals that can feed the scene, you have a park that has all of those and they are fenced properly. And people can come and look at it. You say, that's a giraffe. Oh, that's a zebra. Oh, that's this antelope. That's this, and all of them are running all around. Make sure that the predators are not much, and the predators are caged and fed. In Paris, one real estate feeds the whole of Paris. Is the Eiffel Towers. The Eiffel Tower feeds the whole of Paris. How? Taxis, hotels, restaurants, boutiques. In fact, a hotel room that if you peep a bit like this, you can see the Eiffel Towers. It's more expensive than the one that is bigger and facing the road. As long as you can see the Eiffel Towers, they will tell you it is 1,000 euros. And then the other room is selling for 300.
Just like Dubai, Burj Khalifa.
Exactly. Every building a restaurant towards that. Exactly. So, what are we doing to maximize those kind of things? Have an idea of building something that can match the Eiffel Towers. In Nigeria, some ideas you can just mention, but there's some that are so sensitive that as soon as you mention it, one man is like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Before you then begin to do it, they've done it. So we have something that is like the Eiffel Towers. Those people who want to invest in real estate, come on. I was telling you, tourism is the next thing that real estate should then go into.
Yeah.
The Disney park in Florida, that cost me and my family nearly $2,500. Wow. One visit.
And there's a place like that in Singapore.
Yeah.
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios, yeah.
One-stop shop.
Everything.
Everything.
From food to
everything.
Pictures. There are some photographers there that the kind of money they make, they can't make it if they open the studio in town.
Yes.
People who sell caps, shoes, face caps, glasses, Google toys, and all of that stuff. They don't make as much as Disney makes. So what a bank makes in Nigeria for a whole year, Disney will make it in a day. That's real estate with a theme. With a theme, because real estate with shops is shopping mall. Real estate with a recreation center is a resort. Real estate with living apartments is residential. Real estate with hotel rooms is of course a hotel. So what you do is real estate, just develop it and give it a theme. Right? Wow. The money some nightclubs make in Nigeria, some banks have not made it. A bottle of some drinks are sold for as high as 5 million, as high as 6 million. One drink, and so like 4 or 5 friends will finish it. They will drink about like 4 or 5 bottles.
You've drank 5 million.
No, I mean like they can drink 5 bottles. That's 25.
Wow.
That's 25. And while they are drinking it, some friends on the other table also drinking 10 million, drinking 15 million, drinking. Some banks have to charge 40% interest to make that kind of money in a night. And the kind of money these people make in. So when you want to invest in real estate, don't be thinking about sleeping area alone. Invest in other things. A school is real estate.
Yes.
What they're doing in it is just different. A bank is real estate. What they're doing inside it is just different. But we're limited to thinking, once you say real estate, it is where people are staying.
Yes.
A park. A casino is real estate. Build the real estate to suit the purpose that the people need it for. Real estate was so scarce. They burned Jesus for manger. Because people have taken over the whole accommodation that was available. Real estate has been important from way back. So I have a friend who was relocating to Canada, didn't want to sell her things because she felt like she bought them at a very expensive price and she didn't think anybody was ready to pick them up for her. But she needed to give up the flats. We don't have storage in Nigeria. By the way, Montgomery Vault makes more money than some banks. How many vaults are in Lekki? None. But there are people in Lekki who have jewelry that they are keeping at home. How many people have built vaults? Build one vault in Lekki or Victoria Island. Let people register to come and keep their documents and everything safe. What do I know? I'm a simple comedian.
My God, I'm blown. I'm sure everyone here is actually blown. This has been insightful. I mean, people watching this know you to be the grandfather of comedy, and being here, they're expecting to have been. Of course, we've been laughing. But this has touched. You know when you're in church and the Rema is coming.
Okay, that's another business too. Build a church, and now the churches are building it by themselves.
Yes,
because your daily coins is Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays and Sundays. And then if your church then has a good hall, you can also use it for events. And if your church is good enough, some people can come shoot movies there as well. and I think that the failure of people to see the value propositions in investing in real estate in different ways. There's a variety of options for you to invest in. I told somebody in Abuja one time, I said, do you know that Hausa men, the Muslim men, refuse their wives to go swim in public pools because they don't want anybody to see their wives' bodies? Why have you not opened a swimming pool and named it a Bashiga swimming pool? Bashiga swimming pool, so that people know that it's only Muslim women that go there to swim. The people who attend to them, teach them how to swim, and so on are women. So their women can go there, remove their hijab, I think, and then swim properly, then come and go back home. Since their properties in Abuja do not have facility or swimming pool because most of them are built like public quarters. So there are many.
There's just so much.
But you see, which is why if Ned or Obi Kubana or what's my Veritasi guy? Nola builds a place, it's residential because that's what everybody thinks about. And then you have to even be strategic because Lagos doesn't have land again. Be strategic and in adding value to the properties that you have. You build swimming pool. If you build it in the ground, you've wasted that space. Raise your swimming pool up and put the swimming pool on top. You can still use under.
Yes.
For a lounge, sports lounge. People come, go up, swim, finish, come downstairs and stay inside. And the way your swimming pool is built, you can build a swimming pool and still use the bottom. You can do 2, 3 more swimming pools and use the bottom for anything that you want to do. There is waterproof cement now. So some of all those things you can do. All right? You look at cinemas. Funke Akindele made 1 billion plus 1.6 billion. 1.6 billion actually, and counting, from a movie. And she shot in one of my studios. If you have a film village, she doesn't need to come shoot in my studio. She'll go to your film village and finish the movie there. In the last check, there are people who, if you want to shoot a movie now of 1960, the establishment of that 1960 with the cars that were driving at that, you won't find the cars.
Sure.
So what does it mean? It means that you could invest in a business that has a place where old cars are renovated and refurbished and sprayed and kept, and they are moving. And so some people can use it for some movies like that. When you want to do flashback, because it's when you have the properties to do flashback that you can do a flashback. So you'll not be like, oh, I want to remember when my mom was rushed to the hospital. And then you bring a Beetle or an Igala, or you bring a 404 pickup or 504, and they're carrying the person out, and you shoot the movie in gray. And they carry the person out, and the number plate is LA 2460 KJ. And then the car pulls up.
Without even saying anything, you've already
established
established that
was done in
the past.
Yeah.
Really grateful for your presence. Thank you so much, sir. You've opened our eyes to unending possibilities.
For having me. Yeah.
You know, it's not just, like you said, the residential, buy apartments, buy houses and all that. You've touched every area beyond what we could even expect.
There's a program where people break storage areas. Do you remember the movie? So they'll sell a storage area that people have kept things for over some time.
Yes.
Then you go there and break, and everything you find inside,
I remember, is yours.
So if you have warehouses and safe houses that people have kept all those things. So like the lady I was talking about, when she did whatever she had to rent an apartment in Awaya
to put those things.
But if you had a place where people can keep their stuff, they just take one shop, put their things, lock the place, and go with their own key. You know, one tray like this, that about this long, 2 feet tray, that you put your jewelry and everything in some vaults in Lagos, Yaba, could cost you 200,000. There are people who do not have places to park their boats now. They park it in their houses. Any day they want to ride a boat, they then take a car, a jeep, and pull it to the boat club. When they finish that, they pull it back and go keep in their houses. What it means is that somebody needs to get a waterfront, do it into a jetty. And there are many waterfronts. What do people build their water? They build houses in the waterfront so they can come out and look at water without value. You have, we just know how to waste value. We had the Eco Atlantic. Do you know that whole stretch at a time was government leasing offices?
Yes.
What did you need government leasing offices there for when you should have just built hotels? So even if the governor, you have that kind of, instead of build governor's lodge, if you build hotels in that place, the government will have been making money steady. When the governor comes to Lagos, instead of pay for hotel, will be staying in one of the presidential suites. And the place will be making money for the state. It's like, okay, yes, let me go there. There was a former governor that wanted to build a stadium. You can guess who he is. Wanted to build a stadium, massive stadium. When I told the governor, I said, instead of building a stadium in Lagos, in your state, not Lagos, build a stadium in your state. I said, go to Reading or somewhere just outskirts of London and build this stadium, build it there. There will be a Premiership club that will take the stadium and be paying you money every year. In less than 4 years, the money that you spent in building this stadium, you make it back. Said no, that they want to build a stadium for their people. So they built a stadium. Now the stadium is costing them nearly 200 million to maintain. 200 million monthly to maintain. I'm sure diesel alone will eat that 200 now. And if they put them in band A, they are not finished. So what am I saying? It is that people have to be futuristic. I think, like I mentioned, the Eiffel Tower feeds Paris. And some other parts of London because of Paris, because some people stay in the outskirts so that they can come into Paris. They don't want to pay the cost of Paris. So they stay in the outskirts and drive in. It's like staying in New Jersey and coming into New York. It's cheaper.
Yes.
You do something that will benefit the people, not do something for ego. It is what a lot of the big men are discovering now. They should not build a 10-bedroom apartment. You and your children, then the children all grow up and move out. You are in a house of 10 bedrooms. Just you and madam and house helps. After a while, they look for somebody to buy it and turn it into a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
Which is why I like my friend Tunde Folawiyo. He built a massive house, stays in the penthouse, and rented out all of the bottoms. But when you see the house, you know that the person staying in that place, quality. Understands quality. Some things are, you learn from this kind of people. What are you doing with, and after a while, you then wonder, what are you doing with like 12, 13 cars?
Ego.
You know, you sell value. There was one time that I told somebody, I said, that I have a car that my dogs bought for me. And it was like, how? A dog litters great, maybe like Great Dane or an Alsatian, $250 for a puppy. Those little Chihuahua that look like mop. They sell them $150, $180. If a dog litters and has 3 or 4 of those ones, you have nearly bought a 90s Camry. So, what do your investments bring in? It is not just about to build. So some people say, oh, real estate. Build the real estate, but build with a value proposition in mind. Is it a hall? Let me go there again. I told the musician, very top, if he hears this, he will know that he's the one I'm talking about. He went to play in Dubai. They paid him nearly 400 million. He went to play in another international sports event. They paid him about 500. The next thing has a Maybach. Next thing, he has another car. And then goes on its spree with jewelry and all of us. And in less than 2 to 6 months, he's done about 1.5 billion. Would have bought land and done an event center and put a powerful studio upstairs. People will come there and shoot and do their music, this thing, and the venue can then even bring money enough for him to buy anything he wants to buy. This other thing that I say will make him nearly guess who. Then it was time for him to get married and he had to use the hall. But if we built the hall, he wouldn't have needed to spend the money for the hall. So those are the kind of things that we're talking about. But as they say, it's not going to finish, and we pray it won't finish.
Amen. Oh my God. If we continue, we're not going to stop because it's deep, it's enlightening, it's fun. I am learning a lot and we're all learning a lot. Thank you so much, Okwali. It's so good to have you here. It's good to see this other side of you. And I'm sure everyone watching too is excited to have you here. Before you go, please just crack a joke for us. Let's laugh.
So the thing I do with that is that if I was Anthony Joshua, would you ask me to punch you?
No.
Okay, so thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So my name is Confidence, and once again, this is Key to Keys.